the show, Mr. Ramad Hancock. I,
What's good?
what's
Hello.
He is the host of The Front Seat, which is a plus size dating show, live here on Instagram. I believe it's every two Tuesdays. Is it?
Every Tuesday, yes. Not 9 Eastern Standard Time.
Right, and I will be on it next week, so I'm excited.
To have you on.
Yes, welcome to the show, definitely. How was your weekend? What did you do? What were you up to?
I was doing house things, so like moving old granite vanity countertops from upstairs to the trash, and just kind of adulting. That's what I was doing.
Well, okay,
I was
love
adulting.
that. Let's talk about your show for a moment. Let people know all about it. You have the show, like we said, The Front Seat. It's on every Tuesday. Do you have like a thought of why you came up with this type of show, especially for plus size people?
Facts. So I definitely felt it necessary to create a platform, a safe space, where my plus size community could come, and the admirers as well, but where we could come and encourage and uplift each other, and through that, find love. I think that there are a few other platforms similar, right? Kind of does the same thing, but the connotation is very negative. Like, it's very shady. It's very, like, if you really want somebody to find love, you want to like uplift them. You want to build confidence. You want to, you know what I mean, instill in them that they can. And I don't know. I think us as gays, right? I think that we can be very shady type of people, but it's not necessary all the time, especially in the arena of love. Like, it's a very sensitive topic. So I feel like you gotta kind of tread lightly. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think some shade and some mess is cool, right? But you gotta pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, definitely. When
So
you cut too deep on the shade, that's when it's kind of like, yeah.
very much so. So just wanted to cultivate a platform where we could come on and be ourselves, and as a community, help each other find love.
Right.
In the last few years, in the plus size community, there's been some conversation about the word body positivity and what it means, and people to just want to show off their bodies. What are your thoughts about this?
I think we should show off our bodies. I think that God He only made us one time. I think that we have to embrace and fully celebrate who we are as people, including flaws and all. Subjective, right? And so I think that when it comes to body positivity, I think that you have to. It's about embracing yourself. It's about celebrating yourself in that moment, right? And I say in that moment because I'm guilty of, saying like, oh, child, I done gained like 10 pounds. Let me lose 10 pounds before I can go back outside, And I had to come to a place where, like, bitch, you preaching body positivity. How you gonna talk about you gonna stay inside over 10 pounds? So I then came to the conclusion, like, yo, like, I'm going outside and the world is about to get all of me. You know what I mean? No matter where I am in life, no matter how I feel like my body has changed or whatever. I have smaller friends too who also it's not just a big person or a plus size thing. I have smaller friends who kind of body shame or have been body shamed before. They're trying to like gain weight. So I think it's just about self-expression and expressing all of you, your true self, your whole true self.
But do you think that the kind of the term body positivity really reflects people who look like you and I, more so than it's like a person who is smaller, who they can take off their clothes and it's just like, oh, I'm body positive. But when we do it, it's kind of like, oh, like, because I feel there's a difference.
I agree.
I feel
there's like
a very large difference. And people preach body positivity, but they don't also include people who look like us when they talk about body positivity. You can see it in ads, you can see it everywhere. They're not including bigger people, and especially black males. They're not. They're doing larger frame females who do larger frame males.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're kind of taboo when it comes to the whole body positivity thing. I think that we have a standard as black men that, like, you know, it's deeply rooted from, you know, like a tradition and family and things of that nature. But I definitely think that we have a stigma. It's not fair. I agree. But it takes people like us to be ourselves, to, you know, celebrate our bodies. So that we got to make them know it.
Yeah, I feel like more so, I don't even care about some of those ones anymore. I'd rather be with people who look like us.
For sure. You kind of become accustomed to it that way. You
definitely.
You hang with your people. for sure.
So for your show, you chose 3 singles per episode to be on the show. When searching for the 3 singles, who did you look for?
So just plus size single.
What do you look for?
I don't look for a particular. As long as you're single, you are either plus size, you look plus size, you know, whatever. I think that's who I choose. So it's random. So I don't necessarily. I don't always plan out who's going to be on. Now, sometimes I do, right? Because the people be acting so scary. So I have to, at least once the first one comes on, the rest, the following candidate or guests are, it comes a little easier.
Okay.
But as long as you're single, you're either into big guys or a big guy yourself. And I don't want to just limit it to 2 guys either. So I also represent or would like to encourage plus size females to come on as well. The only caveat there is most of my following is, you know, men. We're big, we're men. So as the show continues to grow, I'm speaking and manifesting it because it will.
It will.
I definitely plan to have more females and women on there.
Now, you are always helping people find their love. Now, to kind of figure out what's going on in your world. Are you dating anybody? Because people want to know.
I am. I'm in a relationship. The people don't know what's up. But no, I'm in a relationship. His name is Austin. We've been together for 2 years. A little over 2 years. It was 2 years in May. We're just in July. Yeah. So a little over 2 years.
We're just in July. We were just celebrating Christmas.
Right. That part.
Right?
That part.
This year's going by so fast.
That's what's up. But yeah, so we cohabitate here. We both live in
We live. That sounds so like forced.
It sounded forced.
No, like it sounds like y'all are we cohabitate.
Oh, okay. And now we live together. Out, child. For real. I'm just trying to be all professional. I feel like it's giving. I need to talk in my dialect.
No.
And I have to, you know, enunciate and all of the things.
You're at home in the Pink Clubhouse. You can come as you are. We do not judge. It is a safe space.
Thank you. I'm naturally an HR professional at heart. Like that's my daytime job. So sometimes it bleeds through, and it's hard for me to separate like Sunny from HR. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're trying to find that balance.
Wait. How does the HR blend into the dating show? That's interesting.
You said, how does it what?
Like, do you ever bring the HR role into the dating show and you have to turn off that hat?
Yeah, all the time. So if you know that we're psychologists as well, right? And so, you know, sometimes I really do be wanting to dig real deep, right? But I'm just like, okay, for the sake of time, let's just keep it cute. We're gonna keep it surface level. But yeah, so the timing helps. Knowing that I need to get 3 people on here and then get to my main subject, my main segment. Yeah, that helps. But mentally, my perspective sometimes come from, or depending on the topic or the question, it could come from the age.
Okay. Hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
When it comes to dating, where oh my goodness, when it comes to dating, what are some qualifications that you look for in compatibility?
So,
or probably what should people look for? Because you're
no, I got. Well, I was gonna tell you what I look for. ED.
open, kind of open.
You're trying to get me caught up out here in these streets.
Are you in an open relationship?
No.
Okay.
We're not open.
Okay.
I respect that.
But I'm not opposed. We're not opposed. So, I mean, we just don't think that it's there yet.
Ooh.
It's 2 years and solid. Love it.
Not for me. I'm just saying, like, what do you think would make you open that door? The door is closed.
I think the only time will tell, right? So because we're both not opposed to it. So what we both believe is that sometimes relationships can get stuffy, right? And so you have to sometimes do things that will spice up the relationship, and maybe bringing in a third at some point in time in life. Who knows when?
Why can't people take a trip? Like, why is this?
Oh, I mean, I think it's inclusive. It's all the things, you know? Like, even if you take a trip, you're still going to just be with that one person. And honestly speaking, I believe, and I wish she was here to speak for herself, but I believe that being with someone for the rest of my life is definitely going to get boring. Definitely. Like, I mean, when you really, I think that it's going to get boring. Now, this is my perspective. If you believe different, then that's your thing. Like, I think that we are conditioned to, how do I put it? We're conditioned to find one person, and that's all we should know, right? Which, you know, if you believe that, good for you. But I believe differently. I feel like, you know, who knows? You know,
I find it weird. Like, okay, I would say I believe that, like, yes, we are conditioned to have that romance kind of Disney movie thought, but then I don't know. Let me not. Well, we're gonna go deep. We use like religion for everything, and it's like, well, you're supposed to be with one person. Now, you know, well, people will just be like, oh, well, I'm not gonna follow that one.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I find it kind of interesting, but that's just my own thought of it. I wouldn't say an open relationship is for me. I heard about someone who had an open relationship just recently, and they were married, and they stepped out and did the thing, and now they're getting a divorce.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing too. So, they were married before they did it?
Yeah, they're married. They are currently married. And then they agreed to an open relationship, and the person opened the relationship, and now they're closing their relationship.
Let me as well. So I could never. The open part is only sexual, so I could never be polyamorous. Woo! I can never be poly, right? I can be open sexually, so I couldn't be in a relationship with another person, 2 other people. That's too much, right? The personalities and all of the things, but you know, if we feel it when we feel it, like, girl, come on over, you know, whatever. But we haven't done it yet, and it's not in the talks, you know, of it happening soon.
Right.
But Austin he is the end all be all in terms of relationship. Like, I don't see myself with anybody else.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I thought kids. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Malloy.
So I put my hand up to the camera because I thought she was reading me. Because in the past, no. I was speaking, like, in the past, I have spoke about the open relationship. But
no, not you.
I actually opened up the relationship before marriage, and I have spoke of that very publicly. Now, sexually, it is good with both parties involved, but where you take a left turn is when one person starts enjoying the sex too much outside the relationship. And I'm sorry, I'm an extremely sensitive person, and I'm a very territorial person. So when I started going out and my partner was like, oh my gosh, like I like him, and literally like 2 weeks later we would go out and this partner started to be unveiled, I was like, yeah, this is taking me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So it's a very I definitely, my word of advice for anyone that's looking to do it is just communicate as much as possible, because it can tear you apart.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to have like rules? Like, if you think about it,
for sure.
Okay.
Boundaries, expectations. It's the only way that it works.
But also, you could be involved, or your partner could be involved with someone who sees a happy relationship even when it's open, and they have all the tools to fuck it up.
True.
So they will come up and try to fuck up a happy home, and if both parties aren't on the same page, it will be a fucked up relationship.
Yeah.
So
but you got to be aligned. Like, you have to, like, I think that beliefs have to be aligned. I think that, like, the trust has to be there. And I say, when I say that, it takes time to get to a point where, you might want to be open, because you have to build all of these things. You know what I mean? You have to build the trust. You have to build that transparency. You have to build communication. So I would never just jump into a relationship and be like, oh yeah, girl, let's do a threesome. Like, yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Well, speaking of threesomes and more people added to your family, do you want kids? Is there marriage in the future with you and Austin?
We haven't decided marriage. We talk about it all the time, right? But we don't know when. It's one of those things where we're not opposed. We definitely want kids, though. Like, we definitely want kids. My mind changes sometimes, just because I don't know if I want to bring a kid into this fucked up world.
Right.
So it's a struggle enough for myself to navigate, let alone try to teach somebody this shit. Like, to navigate what I don't even understand. Yeah, it's, when I think about the bigger picture in that way, it discourages me from having kids. But at the end of the day, everything is a learning experience, and so your kid gonna learn, you gonna learn, and you'll get through it.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I have one other question. Do you allow for toxic masculinity to serve as a back burner in your relationship, or do sometimes your relationship fall victim to societal standards?
Whoa, big question. Repeat that for me one more time. So, okay, the first, because it was like a 2-part question, right? So repeat the first part.
So, in a same-sex male relationship, do your relationship does toxic masculinity take the back burner in your relationship?
So I think that, you digging deep, child. Now you pulling up all the relationship problems and stuff, okay? No, I'm playing. So I think that I, believe it or not, can be can present toxic masculinity in our relationships. So, all right. So when I first started dating men, I always had this image of what my man should look like, what my man should act like, and it was always a thug ass, masculine dude or whatever. But over time, as you learn, you grow, you understand that that's not always a thing. So I say that to say that Austin is he can be Um, he does things sometimes that makes me be like, "What are you doing? Stop acting like a girl," or that kind of thing. And so but I have to catch myself because it's not fair. It's not fair. And I act like a girl sometimes. That's called the thing. Like I will hair flip you in a heartbeat. Okay. But yeah, it's just breaking the norms of how we were raised. Like breaking that mentality.
Of course. So
For sure.
You definitely answered both parts of the question, because the second one was, does your relationship fall victim to societal standards? So like in our community, they always make the top and bottom discussion very toxic, and honestly, it's a great thing in a same-sex relationship to exhibit both traits. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's and then the more I embrace it, the more I fall in love with it too. So yeah,
it'll. Ottoman?
Huh?
What do you embrace more than that? Like, well,
bottom everything. Like,
what do you say he embraces more of? But I want to.